Hello and welcome to the Understanding Narcissists YouTube channel. This video is going to be kind of an answer to a question I get a lot, which is, are there any conditions under which their narcissism kind of fades or weakens in any way? Are there any, say in an extreme survival situation or a crisis, do they become, do they change? Can their narcissism adapt to assist, to be of help in a situation? Do they basically become more human during a survival situation, during an emergency? How do they respond to that? Or another question that's kind of related to that is, how do narcissists change with time if they don't, if there are or aren't conditions under which their narcissism can wane or adapt or something, just any kind of change, any kind of external environment or situation that changes the way they behave with respect to the disorder and their affliction and everything? And do they change in any other way? Are there, either over time as they age, how do they respond to that? Can there be life circumstances that cause them to change? And anybody who knows narcissism well knows that fortunately, it's a pretty simple answer to that question, unlike a lot of videos and things I give, which are multifaceted and very confusing and complicated and kind of if, then, maybe, when, that kind of thing. It's still concrete, but it's still hard to predict. This one's pretty simple because I have fortunately been in a few situations where I've been able to see narcissists where they're fearful for their life, narcissists encounters with death, and narcissists, all kinds of situations you can think of, different emotional environments too, and how they respond to it. Now, after that long-winded intro, wasn't really necessary because from the title of the video, Narcissist to Death, I think you can probably infer my answer. And the answer is, unequivocally, not maybe, not by and large, but unequivocally, they do not change. No, they don't. There's no, whether they're knocking at death's door, whether they think their lives might be in danger, whether they're in a totally different environment that can be shocking or traumatic, they are always narcissistic. They are narcissists to death. And I gotta say, in my experience, when they have to face the reality of things they can't avoid, they're more narcissistic than ever. Yes, they blame you for it. They think you're somehow responsible, and it will come around. They will somehow, given their distorted, torturous reasoning, it will come around to you, to it being your fault. And that will be their conclusion. Even if they can't find a way to say it, you're going to feel it. And you're going to know that's how they feel. So the unfortunate thing is, I think that's kind of the final nail in the coffin in terms of what the real dimension of a narcissist, what are they really capable of, what is really their realm of understanding, how much they're able to get around. There isn't anything. They can't get out of it. That it is a kind of a broken apparatus, a broken mind they have, an undeveloped mind, but also something else is wrong with it. I'm not sure what, but something else is wrong with it, and it's not going to change. And you're not going to change it, and death's not going to change it, and any of the great forces in the world that we know of, that we like or we fear or whatever, any intense emotional environments, it's not going to do anything to change it. So that's pretty much my answer to that question. And look, I kept it under 5 minutes this time. But I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that might be of use. Because there are changes. There are changes that take place in a narcissist when they encounter things that really upend their world and threaten their way of life. But they're not good changes. They just become more narcissistic. It becomes worse. It's to a stronger degree. It's not something that knocks them silly, and wakes them up to what they're doing. They're not really capable of that. And so it can be actually more disturbing because I'll be honest, I wondered the same thing. I was like, well, in an extreme environment, wouldn't they have, for the sake of survival, wouldn't they be able to get it together enough to no, they never do. Not even close. It just kind of goes full tilt, full blast. All cylinders start firing when they're faced with that kind of situation. Whether it be dire or whether it just be out of their control or for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. But I've just seen it again and again. There is no change. And they can't really comprehend those situations either. I think because they really don't want to admit their mortality and their own danger, the danger that they're in, and because they don't have to admit that something could actually happen to them, and that's just too much for them to take. They're just not really able to process that emotionally. They can understand it intellectually enough to maybe make a good decision or a decent decision. But, it's strange. Narcissists, sometimes they seem very proficient in other in their control, in making decisions for themselves, in sustaining their control. But other times you think they just shoot themselves in the foot, and you don't know why. They make a terrible decision that could possibly result in, huge loss or death, personal or financial, all kinds of stuff. But they're really incapable. That emotional comprehension just isn't there, and the denial is very strong. And so when they're really faced with it, the tendency is to either avoid it entirely or deal with it in a very roundabout way and not acknowledge its danger and kind of half-ass it. Kind of make it, so they don't have to really think about the kind of situation they're in. I think that's a sufficient answer to that question. There's probably some more nuances I'm not thinking of now, but I'll just address them in a future video. Anyway, thank you for watching. Like this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a comment if you have anything to ask or say or comment about. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode. Have a wonderful day.